About 10 years ago, I was driving by a clinic and I saw a prison van pull up outside, and they opened the doors and out came some pregnant women, inmates from the prison system, in their shackles and handcuffs, in their jumpsuits, pregnant, walking into the clinic. And it was a very profound image for me. So about 10 years ago, we started a program of going into the prison and working with the women who are pregnant and giving them an alternative and supporting them through their pregnancy, which is a very difficult time for women who may give birth while they're incarcerated and may be separated with them after they give birth. But to support them and say it's okay and to offer them some hope. And one of the first things we did was we gave the women the little ones, and we were really surprised at the impact that the little one model had on the women incarcerated in the prison. We were not aware how many of them were not aware of what was actually going on inside them. For some, this was their first pregnancy where they were not addicted. Some had never carried a pregnancy to term. And so this model really became for them a concrete symbol of the life that they were carrying inside them. And we were surprised, pleasantly surprised, at how over time they really nurtured this model. And it was a way, by nurturing this model, this baby, they were actually nurturing their own child. They would use tissue paper to cover her up, or they would put the model in a little box, make a little bed, or carry the model with them. And it was really symbolic. And we really said, wow, this is something. By nurturing them and teaching them how to nurture and using the little one, they were really starting to nurture themselves and their baby. We used it as an educational tool to talk about things like smoking during pregnancy, drug and alcohol use, the importance of good nutrition.
Well, one that comes to mind is a young woman who was a foreign student attending a university in the Erie area. Because she was a foreign student, she didn't qualify for medical benefits, and she was in a really difficult position because she'd been in a short-term relationship with a man, and so many circumstances about her situation would have been back home not well received. She was really concerned that her parents would not accept what she was doing and would reject the child that she was carrying. And she vacillated many times back and forth over her decision to carry or abort. But we worked with her and worked with her. One of our board members came alongside of her and took her in while she went through the pregnancy. And I think she stayed with her actually for quite a while following that birth of that child. They pretty much adopted that child into their own family. But she was ready to graduate, and she just didn't know what to do, and she just thought there's just no way, and she was going to have to go to graduate school, and she didn't see how she could do that with a baby. And across the miles, after a lot of work and working with different venues to see if we could get her help, our doctor, our overseeing physician, was willing to work with her as far as her prenatal care goes, and it all worked out, but it was just a lot of problem solving along the way. The success story is she had her baby, and she doesn't regret that little boy. But it was a lot of circumstances for her because it was so unusual, because she was a foreign student. She didn't come under the guise of receiving the kind of care that a normal situation allows for. But we worked with her, and it was amazing because actually we had her at our banquet one year. And as she told her story, there was probably 20 people on that stage by the time she got done who would come alongside of her and worked with her and loved on her. And it was powerful. I mean, it was amazing to stand back and see how it can be done and how it's possible. It doesn't end there. She, unfortunately, the father of her child was tragically killed in an automobile accident. And she just needed to be loved on so much, and we were all there. We were there for a support system for her. But the really coolest thing was her mom came over from Europe and visited us and walked into our office, couldn't speak English, but she was so thankful for us having been there for her daughter so far away from home, and for her to hold that grandbaby in her arms, and it was just amazing. It's one of the most breathtaking moments of what we've done and what I've been a part of. It's a privilege.
She was 14 and she did not want to abort. She wanted to keep the baby. She was scared, had all of the normal emotions, but she wanted to keep the baby. Her 18-year-old boyfriend did not want her to keep the baby. And so he drove her to the clinic, and they sat in the clinic for 4 hours. And she was actually on the table getting ready to have the procedure when her baby moved, and her baby had not moved up to that point. And she just was stunned, and she looked at the lady and said, "I don't want to do it anymore." And the lady looked at her and said, "I just want to go home." And she went home, and she has this awesome little, crackerjack of a daughter now. But I think that was the most amazing, because we cared for her. We loved her, even though, as far as we were concerned, she was going to abort. So our love and our compassion, our integrity of care didn't end just because they may have wanted to choose something that we did hope they hadn't or didn't. And because of that relationship, she was able to come back to us and finish the program, get the baby things she needed, and has been a real advocate for us.